Okay, hi everyone. Thanks for joining us on this kind of gloomy day. Um, so today you've joined us at our Ask Me Live studio session. My name, for those of you who don't know me, is Antonia, and I'm a student here at MUN. I'm currently studying recreation in the aged care faculty, and I'm also a memorial ambassador. So today, joining me, we have Jason, Kathy, and Charlotte from the Blundon Centre, and they're going to chat with us today about accessibility services. Before we get started, just a couple of housekeeping items. So this session is being recorded, so if you're participating, you are consenting. And please ensure that your mics are muted and your video is turned off. As much as we'd love to see you all, it can get a little overwhelming and the bandwidth doesn't always handle us all at once. If you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat and definitely ask questions as much as you'd like. So yeah, we can get started. So I guess Jason, Kathy, and Charlotte, would you like to each take a moment and introduce yourselves?
Sure. Thanks for the invite. Great to be here. My name's Jason. I'm the manager.
Jason, we cannot hear you.
I'm not muted. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Yes.
I can hear you, Jason.
Okay, great. So I'll move forward. My name's Jason Geary. I'm the manager in accessibility services in the Blundon Centre. And I'm happy to be here. Kathy or Charlotte?
Hi, I'm Kathy Skinner, and I'm a student advisor with the Blundon Accessibility Services. And like Jason, I'm happy to be here and answer any questions you might have.
And hi, I'm Charlotte Dove. I'm an accessibility advisor as well with the Blundon Centre, and looking forward to this and answering any questions anybody might have.
Great. So I think to get started, if you guys could kind of explain what kind of services and supports the Blundon Centre offers and how it can kind of support students.
Sure. Kathy or Charlotte, you want to take that, or you want me to take that one?
I can start off, and then we
Sure.
can jump in. We offer a variety of supports and services. I guess the first step is for a student to check in with us, and we'll have a discussion with them, usually about the program they might be studying, what kind of supports they may have had in the past. If they haven't had any supports, what kind of supports they think they might need while at university. And of course, based on their documentation and what they have, we'll implement accommodations. But then as the student is going through the program, things might change or might need to be modified or adjusted slightly. So we'll work with the student to support them fully as they go through their program. So that's one thing. And Charlotte, you want to jump in there?
Sure. Well, that's especially for this upcoming semester where we're going remote. I think that's the biggest piece that Blundon will be offering and making sure that students have a touch point for any accommodations that they might have. So, but we're also kind of a one-stop shop for lots of different things. So we get all kinds of inquiries about different things in the university, and we have a really broad breadth of knowledge in our department. So if one of us isn't sure how to answer your question, there's probably someone close to us who does. So any question, really bring it to us, and I'm sure we'll be able to help you out. We offer all different types of services, so regarding accessibility, and also awareness campaigns and education campaigns around accessibility as well. So anything at all, please reach out. We love meeting new people.
Yeah, and I guess the only thing I'll add to what Kathy and Charlotte mentioned was that we serve about 1,200 students a year. So it's quite a number of students, but we're also aware that there are students who come to Memorial who identify as a student with a disability who don't register. And so for whatever reason, and there's a number of reasons, we have a number of students at Memorial who recognize or identify as a student with a disability who do quite well without our services or without accommodations. And so we love to see those 1,200 students coming and meeting the needs of those students. But one of the other things we try to do, like Charlotte said, with some of our sessions and some of the campaigns that we do, is to encourage students who aren't necessarily registered with accessibility services to come and take advantage of some of the things that we offer, to come to some of the workshops or other things that we can provide other than those formal pieces of what we do. So again, we love to see those 1,200 students, and that number is growing every year. And so we absolutely encourage everyone to register, but we know that some students won't, and that's okay. We service and we try to offer as many programs and services to and even the broader university community, right? So yeah. What else,
Thank you.
Antonia?
Okay, so for example, let's say I'm graduating grade 12 and I'm going into MUN this coming year. Can you kind of walk me through the process and what I would need to do if I was interested in registering at the Blundon Centre? And even if I didn't register my first year and I decided to register my second year, is that an option if I wasn't registered my first year?
You want me to take that one, Kathy?
Sure.
All right. So absolutely. Let's start with your second part of your scenario first. So let's say I'm a student with a disability. I'm leaving, grade 12, and I'm coming to Memorial, and I just don't think that I need the services of Blundon Centre, or I'm not really there yet. Absolutely. At any point during your undergrad, your grad, we have students who are PhD students who come to us for the first time during their PhD program. And so absolutely, we can meet you wherever you are, whenever you are in your program. And again, there are a number of students who come into Memorial who don't have a disability and acquire a disability, temporary or episodic. We have students who are in car accidents who need some accommodations temporarily. We also have students who have been able to get through K to 12 without any diagnoses or challenges even, and then they come to Memorial and they're diagnosed for the first time with, sometimes it's mental health, so it could be depression or anxiety or learning disability, and so there's no timeline. So whenever you want to come see us, or if you think or you're not sure, we have those discussions as well. Like, I'm not really sure if I should be here or not. And we have students. I've had conversations with students who have learning disabilities who say, "Oh, I just didn't know if I thought the Blundon Centre was for students with physical disabilities or mobility impairments." And then we have students who have mobility impairments who say, "Oh, I thought the Blundon Centre was for students with learning disabilities." And so we have those discussions with students and say, "Nope, come, let's have a chat and let's talk about what you need." With regards to students who are coming in who may already have a diagnosis or have been supported in K to 12 and have an IEP and have had supports that way, as Kathy said, we encourage you to reach out. Just reach out to our regular email, blundon@mun.ca, and someone will put that in the chat for you. And reach out to us. We'll put you in touch with an advisor. And that initial conversation usually leads to additional conversations, having you get documentation, whether it be from your school district or from a physician. We have students who get documentation from physical therapists or occupational therapists. And so your advisor will be able to walk you through all that. And then we register your accommodations in our system. And then each semester, you'll have the opportunity to go in and decide which accommodations go to which professor. So there's a lot of, once you're in the system and we have those accommodations registered, there's a lot of flexibility and power on the student's part to be able then to communicate that. And that's really important for students to have that power and that ability to share or not those accommodations. So hopefully that helps, Antonia. Is there anything I'm missing, Kathy or Charlotte?
No, I think what you're saying is spot on there. And I would also just say to students, you mentioned that some students come in never having had accommodations in high school, so sometimes students come in and they haven't had accommodations, and they get in them on, and they're putting in all the work and doing all the right things, and they're not seeing the results they should be seeing. So it might be worth a visit to come and have a chat with us and see how we might help you.
Awesome. And so you also mentioned that some people can get accommodations for like a temporary disability. So for example, let's say I break my arm just before exams. Is that something that students could come to you guys for?
That never happens. Yes, it does. Almost every semester, we have a student, unfortunately, who, is in a motor vehicle accident or slips and falls. And so you're not a person with a disability until you're a person with a disability. And so we are absolutely here for students with temporary or sometimes we call them episodic disabilities, where it's just to get you through this hump of maybe having a cast on, maybe your arm or your leg, and absolutely. So we can put you in touch with an advisor, and we can put accommodations in place that will last through the period of your rehabilitation, and then that's it.
We've even had students where maybe they have had something like that, like a temporary disability, a mobility issue, and perhaps they're having difficulty getting around campus due to their mobility issue. So there's places on campus that are not overly mobility friendly, and to get from one end of campus to the other, sometimes in 10 minutes in the winter, can be hard, and navigating the pedway and such like that. And you run into transportation issues and things like that. So sometimes students will come in and they may need to maybe switch into another section of a course because maybe it's offered later in the day and it works out better for them to get across campus and things like that. So there's all sorts of things. I tell students, before assuming that we're not able to help you, pop in and just ask, because we just might be able to help you or put you into touch with someone a little quicker who can facilitate that for you. So they can just in a typical semester they would pop by the front desk, which of course they won't be able to do in September. But they can email blundon@mun.ca, and our wonderful secretary Christine, she's a superstar. She's super friendly. She'll be able to hook you up with an advisor or give you the information that you need.
Awesome. So when you do register with the Blundon Centre and book appointments or use the accommodations, are there separate fees associated with that?
There are no fees. Yeah, no fees associated with that. Yeah.
Not at all.
Just all part of being a memorial student.
And when transferring from high school to university, is it possible to get the same accommodations that someone got in high school?
Absolutely.
Generally a student's documentation would support those accommodations they had in high school. But what we'll do when we sit down with a student, university is a little bit different. So there are those accommodations that you probably always had, and there may be extra things that you've never had in the past. And you may not even be aware of that you might have a need for those. So there are a lot of different things that we'll explore with you depending on what your needs are. And so your accommodation list might grow, but you also, like Jason said earlier, you have the decision as to what accommodation you want to use in a particular course. And you might even start off a course and then halfway through realize, gee, what would really help me would be this. And then you would come back and speak with your advisor, and then we'd discuss that and maybe put something in place based on your documentation and what kind of support you need. Yeah.
Everybody's on their own journey with this, so we realize that. And whenever students are ready to have that discussion and allow us to help and be a part of that, then that's perfect.
Cool. So what kind of things can an accessibility advisor help students with?
I can take that one. So there's all sorts of different things that have already been mentioned, but also another question that we get from students a lot, and I don't know, Antonia, maybe you have a question related to this down the road in a few minutes, but we get a lot of questions around student aid, for example. So a lot of students who are either already student aid eligible, Newfoundland student aid eligible, and they would like information on some grant programs that they offer. So there are some grants for students who have permanent disabilities through student aid. So in order to qualify for those, you do need to qualify for student aid. We can help you with that process, and you can get things like a computer system, technology, noise canceling headphones. Tutoring is very popular, so we can help students with that. And then if you're not student aid eligible, then perhaps there's other supports and things that you might be looking for. But besides for that and the academic accommodations that we've discussed, we had been offering programming as well. Now, I offer a peer mentor program. So we launched it last year, and this year we're looking at going more of a remote route, obviously. So first-year students coming in, if they're looking to be matched with a second or third year student or a student further along in their program, they can get in touch with me, and I can match them with a student in September. That's not, all the details on that are not quite worked out yet. That's the plan for over the summer, but that's something that would be really helpful for first year students coming in, particularly if they need assistance with how do I navigate MUN in a general way. So, and I know that Kathy and Beth had been doing some programming as well, and just assisting students with whatever they might need along the way.
I'm going to jump in with a couple of other things, Antonia. Some of them aren't relative this term because everything is remote, but we'll get back to it eventually. So students that might need accessible parking, they will come to our office. Students that might need housing, accessible housing. We have a technology advisor. So one of the student advisors does a lot of technology stuff. So if you're a student that wants some advice on that, on what types of software or hardware to buy to make your life, more accessible, especially now in the remote environment, we have the fabulous Jen who works with us that knows all that stuff. All formats, so students that might need all formats for their textbooks, they will come through the Blundon Centre as well. So there is a whole gamut of things we can assist with. And even I think just that we've all worked at different parts of the university. We all have a lot of different links and things like that throughout the university. So if a student has a question really about anything, their advisor is always a good first start to speak with. And if we don't know, we can certainly find out the information for you.
So Charlotte, you mentioned the peer mentoring program. But besides that, the one appointment, do you have service?
You froze up a little bit there, Antonia. Sorry, can you repeat what you last said?
So besides the one-on-one appointment with the advisors and the peer mentoring program, are there any other, I swear I do speak English, any other kind of group things or services or kind of connections that the Blundon Centre offers?
Well, myself and Claire LeDrew, actually, Claire's not here with us today, but we linked through their department, career development, to look at Discover Talent. So Discover Talent was a great program for students who were preparing to graduate. So if you're at that level of your university experience, you're kind of moving out of your undergrad or perhaps your graduate program, you're looking to move into the workforce. Discover Talent can be a great way for you to connect with some local employers. So what we did there was actually engage community employers within the St. John's region and match them with students who are preparing to graduate in a kind of a job shadowing program over the course of a semester. So, again, going forward into September, that's going to look a little different because there won't be any like on-site type things, but that's something that we're looking to have in the works as well. So trying to make those linkages for students, because academics is one thing, but we know that students have other concerns while they're in school, that school work life balance is very important. So trying to make sure that we provide assistance in different parts of those linkages is very important.
Antonio, I'll just jump in there because Beth wasn't able to make it today. But Beth is another advisor at that center, offers and does that now. This summer is doing it with Claire, actually. And they're offering a bunch of workshops, just different ways for students learning. So it might be time management and procrastination session. There might be something about test and performance anxiety, or an introduction to assistive technology. So there's a bunch of different workshops that are, every week there's a different workshop that a student can attend. And they've been happening remotely, and when we're on campus, they happen on campus as well.
Cool.
And very well attended.
Awesome. That's good to
Very
hear.
well attended.
Good. So I guess I'll open up to you guys. If anyone has any questions that they'd like to add or anything else, definitely ask. But I guess Charlotte, Kathy, and Jason, do you guys have anything extra information you'd like to add or any tips for students coming into university who might be looking to avail of your services?
Yes. Go ahead.
I'll just say, everybody at the office is pretty friendly. So I know students are often quite nervous to reach out and get in touch. But, just like Charlotte said earlier, just send an email or give Christine a call. She'll just link you with the advisor. And it's a really simple process. Like, we are really there to support students. There's nothing difficult about the process. Everybody's pretty friendly. So I would definitely say, I know people are nervous, or students oftentimes will say, well, I'll just try it by myself. And that's fine to do that, because, it's your decision. And you can still try it by yourself. You can still make an appointment with an advisor, put everything in place, and it's still your decision whether or not you avail of your accommodations. So I would just recommend just reaching out and getting in touch. It's your decision ultimately what you do with that, but it never hurts to just kind of make the connection and see what's available for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, to reiterate that there are students, the majority of students on any post-secondary campus that identifies a student with a disability aren't going to register with their campus accessibility office. And again, that's your choice. But again, we try to, everything we offer, we try to offer it up open to any student at Memorial, because we know that there are students out there who don't register that can still benefit from what we can offer. And further to that, we often do sessions for faculty. So I think it's important that students know we work very closely with instructors to increase their ability to teach in a more accessible and inclusive way. And they're trying really hard. There's a lot of instructors this summer who are on webinars every day, learning how to be more accessible in their teaching. No one's perfect, but they do try really hard. And so we're working with them really closely. And so there are things that instructors are doing and will continue to do that will benefit all students, and not just students who have disabilities or students who are, English language learners. So there's all kinds of things that we're working with faculty to try to do in their teaching that will make them more effective, more inclusive, more accessible. So yeah, I think support students know we work with faculty too very closely to make them better teachers.
And I'll add on that, every single student, every one of you who comes in has a certain skill set of strengths that you bring with you. And sometimes you know exactly what they are, and sometimes you don't know what they are yet. You haven't discovered those yet, which is part of the university journey, is discovering what those are. So we'd love to meet with you and chat about those things and figure out, what your strengths are, what your passions are, what you're excited about. Those things are, there's all kinds of paths available to you in university, and we're just one spot that can assist you with that. But accommodations really, from our standpoint, are meant to level the playing field for everyone. So they're not meant to give anyone, an advantage or that type of thing. I get that question a lot from students. They'll say, well, does this mean that I get more than other people? And maybe people will look differently at me if I receive accommodations, that kind of thing. But that's not our philosophy at all. Our philosophy is that accommodations are meant to level the playing field for everyone. So everyone has an equitable opportunity to find their own potential at MUN. So we'd love to meet you. So pop in, give us an email, let us know that you're out there, and we'd love to help you out.
I can definitely vouch that you're all very friendly. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come and chat with us. I know we all really appreciate it and know that we can reach out and you guys are super helpful. And yeah, do you guys go ahead, Jason?
No, I was going to say thanks for the invite. It's a great opportunity, and every opportunity we can get to be in front of students or their families. So we have conversations with parents at this time of year too, just so that you know. Right. Ultimately, we strive to speak with the student and your young adults, but we do know that that mom or dad or your aunt sometimes are your biggest supporters, and so we have those conversations as well. So don't hesitate to reach out, even if it's with mom or dad or aunt. We'd love to meet them as well.
That's great to know. Well, thank you so much. And I just want to remind everyone that these Ask Me Live studios do happen every Wednesday and Friday. So make sure you join us next week on Wednesday, July 29th at 2 o'clock. There's going to be question and answers with the Faculty of Business Administration. So yes, well, enjoy this kind of rainy, gloomy day. Make the best of it. Thank you, Jason, Charlotte, and Kathy again. And I hope everyone has a good weekend.
Thanks, Antonia.